I think, just one studio shot of me. And I was like, wow, I've never seen myself look like this before. And that's why I think I remember like, Nick, I have an idea.
Yeah, man, that first year was brutal. I somehow survived in Austin on $24,000 the first year. To the Match Artist podcast. Today we have Shane, and Shane is my co-founder of the Match Artist. We started it back in 2018, and we're just here to reminisce about some of the early days and give you a little bit of a window into how we got this started. So, welcome, Shane.
Thanks, Nick. Happy to be here.
Good old Austin.
I am Austin, yes. I'm from Dallas, so about 200 miles up the road. Stopped at Bucky's to get here.
What'd you get?
Oh, great question. I really wanted to get the beef burrito, but I withheld. And instead I just got some meat and cheese. Oh, I got you some jerky.
Jerky.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Get some jerky, got some pecans. And then just listened to some podcasts on the way down, and here I am.
What have you been listening to?
Huh, great question. I have been really into the Prof G podcast lately.
Prof G. Oh, Galloway.
Yeah, Scott Galloway, Ed Ellenson.
I haven't listened to any of his full podcasts, but I've seen some of just the clips that I get on YouTube, and he's got some great advice.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it really kind of like applies to like what we're doing here, right? What it means to be a man, like how to like show masculinity, in your life and in pictures in a good way. So I think I listen to a bit of it.
Does he differentiate from kind of as we both know, there's a lot of the like alpha, confident sort of pickup artist kind of thing. It seems like he's probably not quite there.
Yeah, and in a very good way, right? Like we're constantly like saying Andrew Tate is who we're not trying to look up to. And yeah, I'm really excited that we're here doing this podcast because I think we can do the same thing. Like it's totally okay to be a man, you know, and you don't have to listen to Andrew Tate.
And I think a lot of people get trapped up in Andrew Tate because it's this thing that, I'm guilty of it for sure. It's like you see somebody that's talking so confidently, and like something within us guys, I think we want to be that confident and that secure in ourselves. And so we just, you get down the rabbit holes of like morning motivation with Andrew Tate that I did several years ago. You ever do that?
No, that is way too dark for me. I'm very proud to say I haven't, but yeah, I mean it's something really missing in our society for sure.
And I think somewhere like the in between is what we're trying to cover with the podcast episodes that we've done so far. It's like we're not pickup artists, but we realize that there are differences with genders and with people in general, like men and women dynamics. And it seems like there's a lot of the pickup side and a lot of the like ultra wholesome feminist side, and it's like there needs to be that kind of in the middle.
Yeah, and finding that middle is very, very difficult. Yeah, because if you go too far to, the scary side where Andrew Tate is, right? Like you're putting out just nasty, nasty content. And then if you just go with the be yourself, that is clearly not gonna work. Or there's a lot more depth to it than just quick little one-liners of being yourself.
Right.
I think he brings up a good point. Like us as older men who are successful in life, have a good relationships, have a good job, have a good career. Like it's our duty to actually like take younger men underneath our wing, like coach them through life, make sure that they don't get wrapped up into the wrong crowd, all that stuff. It's just so important that we take the time and kind of provide the antidote to all the crap out there that's on TikTok and stuff.
Yeah. I think that in a way we help the segment of the market with our clients through like the coaching and the photos. But I think in my own life too, the whole like taking somebody under your wing. It's like I for sure haven't arrived by any means, but just taking, the young, uh, recently turned 21 entrepreneur that's, reading all the right stuff, and, he's trying to lose weight and network. And I'm like, just giving people that thing that I didn't really have at that age, and just like like, here's what's worked for me, like, you could try this, read this, just and they seem to really appreciate it.
Yeah, they appreciate you're making, stronger guys out there, and then they grow up to be good men. That's our job. That's what we do here.
What does a good man do?
I mean, I think he's, like, very authentic, right? Like, I've always said thoughts, words, actions. So what's going on up here should match what you're speaking, and then ultimately what you're thinking, what you're speaking should match what you're doing. And the key part to that is you gotta make sure that you have good thoughts. Because if you're thinking very negatively of yourself, or if you're jealous or experience some of these negative emotions, then all of a sudden, if you do the thoughts, words, actions, that jealousy comes out through the words and through the actions. That's really bad.
Mhm.
But it's just as bad if you're thinking jealousy thoughts up here and then your thoughts and your words don't match your actions.
Yeah. I think as I've tried to surround myself with better people and just who I'm spending time with. I think the whole like the words line up with the actions being extremely important to me. That, I mean, just summing it up with, does this person do what they say that they're going to do? I fall short with that all the time, but I notice, when I see a pattern with somebody new that I meet, that they consistently don't do what they say they're going to do, whether it's like employee or like friends, hey, I'm planning this, I'll be over by this time. Or it really shows a good person, I guess, that if you're doing what you say you're going to do.
I couldn't agree more, especially like when once you kind of achieve your ultimate goal. I mean, both you and I are married. And when you bring that into a relationship, you have to be honest with yourself so that you can be honest with your partner.
Yeah, honesty is very important. I think we're both like that with our marriages, where it's like we share everything and, there's no real secrets there.
I agree. And I mean, it should be, when you start getting into the more serious relationship and the marriage, like, it's gotta be the number one thing in your life, because if it's not, nothing else in your life matters, because if, I know if Molly and I aren't good, like, nothing in my life is good.
Happy wife, happy life.
That I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all that it boils down to.
Yeah, recently with my wife, it's like just the things you realize after, we've both been married like about the same time, almost 3 years, and the whole happy wife, happy life thing, to where like my mood can be pretty unaffected in a number of areas, if we have, a client issue or, something about revenue, whatever. But it's like if Allie isn't happy, that affects my mood. And so it's like almost like if she's having a bad day, it's like, let's figure out how to troubleshoot that so that we both have a good time. It's like it's starting with her, because I don't think she's brought down by my bumminess as much as the other way around.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it all starts in, your thoughts. You have a good headspace, you gotta think highly of yourself, you gotta think highly of others.
Mhm.
That's what's really important.
So getting down to the meat of all this is the match artist. And you have a lot more of an entrepreneurial experience than I do, because the match artist was my first thing that you really kind of brought me into at the very beginning. But maybe for those that don't know, tell me about some of your ideas and companies that you had started or that you were working on before the match artist, or maybe your like kind of your history with uh, tech or business.
Sure. I mean, I love technology. Like, technology is like, it's one of my favorite things, one of my favorite hobbies. Was a programmer, or still am a programmer. I went to college for computer science, and I love technology. And then I'm also, really found a passion for entrepreneurship and business ownership. Growing up, my dad owned a trucking company, so I got to like watch him purchase machinery and drive trucks and would, you know,
Did he teach you or
uh,
like about business, or like, or you just kind of
I'm
observed?
more observing than business. I thought you were gonna ask, like, did he teach me how to drive a truck?
Yeah, did he?
Not really, but that would be kinda cool. I do wish I knew how to, like, drive a big rig.
Does he still do that?
Yeah, and my grandpa turns 80 next month, and he still drives a semi truck.
Your dad, when I met him, that was a great night. You remember that night?
No.
We went to Rooters.
Oh gosh.
You don't remember that?
I think all that needs to get cut out.
When I met you and we're going out on the town and your dad was in town and we we were at Reuters in Fargo, North Dakota. He stopped by and wanted to sing karaoke. Trying to remember the name of the song he sang. It was, it'll probably come to me later. Your dad's a good time.
I'm not there. Yeah, I mean, that's how I, kinda, like, learned entrepreneurship, and I remember, like, through college, I was always trying to, like, have some sort of a side hustle. The big one that took off was my wedding DJ company. I still really miss that, like, we were, like, DJing all the time. I think I even drug you along to a few gigs.
Yeah.
And man, like, making people dance, like, sharing music, like, being there on, like, the happiest days of people's lives was really fun. I know that you were into wedding photography, and, I really, really enjoyed weddings, and I someday I kinda hope to go back and DJ a wedding or 2 because, yeah, just, like, being there and, like, sharing, like, creating, like, someone's happiest day of their life, I think is, really, really cool.
Yeah, the dance part is, I mean, it's underrated sometimes with you have somebody that can really create the energy on the dance floor. And, I think a good DJ can, if it's 10 people, make them dance as hard as they can kind of thing.
Oh, for sure, and, like, the song selection, like, trying to, like, pry in there and figure it out. But it was kinda through this experience, like, where I felt like I really started to learn business. I noticed, like, a lot of the other DJs was, like, really focusing on, the DJing part and mixing and scratching. Of course, that's important, right? Because otherwise, if you're not a good DJ, then no one shows up. But they were not putting nearly enough, like, effort into, like, the business aspect, and it's so, so important. And, like, creating an experience for the client, like, not just the night of, like, make sure, like, when they meet with you that, that there's a good experience, that they know what you're gonna deliver, making sure that your equipment's in top shape and it looks good on the dance floor. Like, there's so many little of things I kinda had to learn, and I really grew, like, from, someone with speakers to, like, a full-fledged business by the time, I exited the business. There was 2 other DJs kinda working for me, and, there's all this stuff that kinda goes into the business, and I've had a lot of failures along the way, a lot of dumb ideas during that time. I don't think it was a dumb idea, I just didn't execute it that well, but it's like trying to, like, I wanted to make, like, a Christmas light, hanging up service.
Okay.
That was something never really off the ground, probably because you can only work, like, once a year. That would be challenging, and there was a couple of other ideas too, but really, yeah, the DJ, and then I have a software company, which I still am part of, called Share, and we help people, like, live stream their funerals.
Okay.
And that's kinda how I get to, like, execute, like, my software brain because, like, we're building apps, we're shipping code. I really, really enjoy, like, building things and, selling them.
Yeah. And it seems like with, the wedding DJ company, what we do with the match artist and the memory share side, you're really involved in, even if you're not always an outwardly emotional person, you like being involved in people's most emotionally related topics, right? Have you ever considered that?
I guess I haven't really thought of that, but yeah, being there for the wedding and death is yeah, those are definitely, heavy emotional times for people.
Dating, wedding, death. What else? What are some other emotional topics that you don't have a business around yet?
I don't I mean, I wanted to do something like a charity sort of a giving, that was tougher to pull off.
Yeah.
I called it the Give Bot, and it was gonna be like this, thing that you would, like, it was an e-com checkout thing, so you'd install this little snippet, and then on any checkout, you'd be able to, like, give to charity, but
Oh, that's cool. Cause yeah, you do a lot with the Stripe stuff now, right?
yeah, I was doing Stripe.
A consultant.
Yeah, Stripe consulting, that was really fun too, but it's, gotten much more difficult. I feel like now that AI is here,
Yeah.
like, it can just used to be able to pay me to answer the questions, and now ChatGPT can just do it, so, I mean, that is what it is, but I really, also kind of developed a little passion for payment processing along the way.
A passion for payment processing.
Yeah, it's super, super
It's
fun.
the most you thing to say ever, I think. I think a lot of the engineering-minded guys will, that are listening would enjoy that part too. So if we're, going back to those, like, early days of business, like, you have your dad, but, like, did you have any other influencers or, were you a Gary Vee or a Tai Lopez, or were you into it before the business influencers?
Yeah.
A Tony Robbins?
Sorry, but I hate all those guys. I don't think they're real, but, Rob Walling, he's definitely real, and he's just a guy from Minnesota. I guess he's from California, but now lives in Minnesota, just really focusing on building, small software businesses. And then they kinda have, like, this whole, like, indie hacker kinda community. Like, I know, like, Cortland Allen has his whole podcast and community around indie hackers, and, I really like that community, like, those were really big influences on me.
Yeah, I remember you got me into their podcast at the very beginning. The Startups for the Rest of Us,
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I was actually listening to that on the way down.
They're still doing it?
Yeah, they're still doing it.
Yeah, that was probably like so like 7 years ago or something that you're or I don't know how long
I
ago.
think he said, like, they started in, like, 2010 or something, which is
Wow. So I just remember listening to that. I'm sure I would understand a lot more these days if I went back and listened, but it was like, yeah, I didn't know anything at the time. I was just, we'll get to the beginning of the business, but I didn't have any experience. I was doing wedding photography and headshots, and I just knew I loved doing it. And yeah, I remember you taught me a lot at the very beginning, back at the co-working sessions.
yeah, I forgot about that. I will say the mattress is the only business I started where it was, like, really, like, it just, it came to me, because, like, you took my pictures,
Yeah.
and I went from, like, a guy, like, getting no matches on Tinder. I'm so afraid that you're going to pull up those pictures. And I had those pictures on my profile, just like every other guy, like, "Here's me because I don't know how to take a picture. Here's me holding a picture of a fish." I did not have a picture of fish.
You in some like at a lake or, just very bro type content.
Yeah, just whatever, like any other guy, like, no one was taking my pictures, so I was, like, trying to manufacture it, and I just looked dumb. And, like, I thought I looked cool, but I did not look cool, and man, like, no one was swiping right on me.
But yeah, in terms of going back to I I think I remember how we met, but I'm wondering if you remember.
Not really. I mean, I know it was in Fargo, which is very cold. I'm very happy that I've made different life choices and live down here now. But it was, I remember it was like a very cold, cold night, and I somehow ended up at your photography studio.
I think, yeah, we used to do some parties there, and I was getting into DJing at the time, and we had that mutual connection. And yeah, I mean, maybe it's a little foggy because it was probably a party, but yeah, I pulled up a good shot of the OG studio. You probably haven't seen that in a bit. That table that we did so much work at.
Man, that just takes me right back there. I can taste the coffee from 20 below as it's actually 20 below outside just looking at this photo.
Yep.
Wow. And you slept there.
I slept there sometimes, yeah. Actually, more than sometimes, depending on the season. But yeah, that was the downtown studio, and I lived up in way North Fargo, and it was just convenient sometimes to crash there and shower at the Y down the street. Not because I mean, like a lot of entrepreneur stories, it wasn't because I was that poor. It's just more convenient, and I think I paid $420 a month for a downtown photography studio. So that definitely helped me get going.
Can we get a $400 a month photography studio down here?
I Yeah, if we maybe at gunpoint. It's the only thing I can think of. Yeah, I wonder. I mean, some of these, I've talked to some real estate friends with that they understand more about the rents that people are paying, and sometimes it's just like to have a brand present that you're not going to sell anywhere close to paying I don't know what the numbers are, but it's tens of thousands of dollars a month for small.
Just like bills more than $400 a month.
Yeah. Oh, those are good times.
Very good times.
So you ended up at the studio, and I just remember being, I guess enamored is probably a bad word to use, but just like intrigued by your lifestyle where you were both a professional and, developer, you had companies, but you also kind of had like some codes that you lived by, like back in the day. I don't know, you still kind of have that too, but remember you taught me a lot of, just phrases that I still will use occasionally. I don't know if you remember any of those from those days.
My thoughts, words, actions. But yeah, we had our fun, and then you took, I think, just one studio shot of me, and I was like, "Wow, I've never seen myself look like this before. That's really, really cool." and, it made me feel more confident, it's like, oh, like, I was in a good headspace at the time. I was like, "Oh, that's" like, that's how I feel. Like, that's how I look, that's how I felt, compared to, like, the old pictures where I just looked so dumb in the photo, so it was really, really nice to have, like, a photo that really matched how I felt.
Yeah. And it was about that time that I had stumbled upon Peter Hurley's coaching. He's a photographer out of New York and does a lot with like what do you do with your face to convey confidence? Because most people, especially guys, they'll get on camera and it's like, hey, act natural, the photographer will say, but it just doesn't look natural. They're just like wide-eyed and they look scared. But yeah, just trying to I was just like everything I get into, I'm just really obsessive and just being able to coach guys. And I wasn't even thinking online dating. I mean, was that your first thought when I sent you those pictures?
No, definitely not. I mean, I still think, like, it was in that time, this would've been, like, 2015, 2016, and, like, Tinder had just came out, and online dating was still, like, kinda weird.
Mhm.
Now it's just like, yeah, that's what you do, but at the time, I was like, "Oh, you're on Tinder? That's kinda weird."
Yeah.
So I was a little embarrassed, but, I was also, like, a young guy and, like, wanted to meet people, so I did kinda put up, pictures on Tinder, and I still even with, like, your headshot, like, you're right, like, my first I was like, "Oh, yeah, I'll upload this to Tinder." It just kinda, like, took a bit. I don't know, after, like, just getting not name matched, I decided to put that picture on, and it was crazy, like, just it was just one picture, this wasn't the whole shoot yet, it was just that one studio headshot, and just that alone, like, made a difference, and that's kinda where I was like, my mind kicks in, like, the optimization, like, "Oh, wait," and that's why I think I remember, like, "Nick, I have an idea."
Think you sent me a text. I think it might have been December of 2017.
Oh, no, no,
Was
hold
that?
on, this like, what I'm talking, like, "Nick, I have an idea," that was, like, me asking you to take more photos of me.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Because we sat with just one photo of me in the headshot for quite some time on Tinder and whatnot, and then I was like, "Wait, all my pictures need to be this good." But it became very clear that if I were to upload just 5 pictures of me in the studio, that would not work. And I think this is like the conception of the match artist is like almost like when I like reached out to you, it's like, hey, like let's do things I want to do. And that's where like you kind of like followed me. You came to like one of my weddings where I was DJing. So you photographed me DJing.
Yeah.
You photographed me. At the time I had a part ownership in a plane up there. So we went flying. What else? Oh,
The good
looky
old
here.
days.
Oh wow, that's when that haircut was in style.
Got that. And then the initial I think you ended up using this one, if I remember right, but there's the shot of you, I'm not a pilot, but I guess you're checking your jet fuel on the runway, right? Or you're
Definitely don't fly jets, but that would be cool.
like how does that yeah, like that photo.
Oh, this one. Oh, yeah, so what we're doing here is we are making sure that the fuel doesn't have water in it,
Mhm.
and you sump the tanks, and if there is water in the tank, the water will sink to the bottom, and you'll notice, like, a very clear difference between the water and the fuel.
Okay.
So if there's no water in the fuel, there's not, and then you chuck it away because you can't use it,
Yeah.
and that's why I was in that photo.
Made for a good photo. I think we did some cafe photos as well.
Yeah, yeah, with the cafe photos, it's kinda crazy, like, some things have obviously changed because this was, almost 10 years ago now,
Wow.
but a lot of there's still some of these core principles that we kinda came up with on a whim are still, implemented in the match artist today.
Yeah, I think we were one of the first. I mean, we weren't the first online dating photography company, but I think we were one of the first to have like a full-fledged, like long session. We're not just making up photos in a studio in different environments. We're actually like doing what the people like to do in their normal lives.
Yeah, it felt like it was really like, in the early, early days, it felt so fun, like, just kinda, like, pioneering, like, this new kind of genre of photography that hadn't really existed before.
And I remember telling people towards the beginning, it's progressively gotten better, but at the beginning when I said what we did, it was like, "Oh, like those guys, like they must be losers." Or, they're like, "What kind of guy needs that?" And now it's like, "I'm jealous I didn't think of that idea. That's brilliant. Like that must help a lot of people," kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just kinda goes back to, like, what I said, like, in that time, just even having a Tinder account was kinda weird, and then as, like, that kind of got more normalized, of course, having a good profile, that just makes sense.
So what was your like your style of dating at the time? Like, you were you were just trying to go on more dates? Had you dated much before that?
Yeah, I would say I didn't really have much issues with dating, except for living in a small northerly town. That was kind of a hindrance for sure. But I didn't really have that much of an issue with it. But it was just, I mean, I was a guy in my young 20s. Like, what guy in his young 20s doesn't want to have an amazing Tinder profile? And it was just crazy how, when I uploaded those photos to Tinder, that, like, it was I can't even describe. Like, it went from, like, I was this typical guy, right, where your average guy will get swiped left on 8 out of 10 times, and just those photos alone, like, snap of a finger, went completely opposite where it was I mean, it was probably at least 67% of every single person I swiped right on would swipe right back on me.
And you didn't even have the flow of your hair that you have now?
No, I had a different hairstyle, and I do wanna clarify, like, the reason why it's so, like, Tinder is just because, like, that was the app of choice in 2016. I know now it's, like, Hinge and whatnot, but man, like, Tinder was just it was the first one.
Yeah, back before it got more difficult on Tinder. That's not the main app of choice anymore.
I know, I have heard that, like, it's not as magical as it once was, and I feel so bad that every guy couldn't have experienced, what we were privileged to just, be able to snap some photos and just, uh, have such great results.
Yeah. I guess this kinda ties back to the whole, like, taking people under your wing. You moved to Texas, right? Like, what inspired that?
Yeah, okay, so this is kind of fun. Like, as we're like reminiscing about all this stuff, like the mattress didn't exist. It wasn't on anyone's radar. It was just me and you having a good time, taking my pictures. You're still doing wedding photography. I'm still like running memory share and different software consulting gigs. It was just this cool thing that kind of existed. I moved to Texas for a teaching job, and also like I intentionally wanted to get away from the cold. And at that point, like shortly moving down here, I saw the same Tinder profile,
Mhm.
same picture profile, and, that is where I met my, wife.
Met your wife. So what did she comment on the photos?
Yeah, she didn't think I was real, she thought, like, I was, like, possibly fake or looked like a celebrity, and I don't know, I wish she was here to tell the story, but
We'll have her on at one point. That would be a great conversation.
yeah, I mean, she really complimented my photos and whatnot, and again, the mattress does not exist at this time. Her and I started hanging out, I really
What'd you do on your first date?
first date, oh, we went to Whataburger. It's a little dating advice in here, but, like, I still believe, like, the first date, like, I do not do dinner and a movie as a first date, right? Like, that's so high pressure, high commitment. Even for my wife, who I'm so thankful for, I mean, I love that Whataburger was our first date. It's kind of always fun that now we can go somewhere cheap and fun too as like a reminiscence thing.
Yeah.
And then our second date, after we kinda liked each other, like, that's where we kinda opened up the door. We went to the Fort Worth Stockyards.
Nice.
In my kinda head, that's kind of our first date. That's kind of the day that we celebrate, like, our dating anniversary, whatnot, because it was just such a fun time. We went to the stockyard. I've never, like, been there before. She took me. Yeah, we just walked around, had a great time. She showed me the cows with the big longhorns, and I think
Yeah.
that's, like, where I, like, really kind of fell for her.
You guys hung out a ton right away, or was it kinda spaced out? Like, were you seeing other people?
We were probably seeing each other more than what was healthy.
Yeah, that's both of our experiences too. Like, yeah, with Ali, they always say like, play the game or, don't let him know how much you want him kind of thing. Isn't that, is that Matthew McConaughey?
I don't know who it is, but you're right. Like, I think guys will typically have, like, like, if you really like someone, like, you kinda go after them a bit strong, and no one does wanna get bombarded and texted, and I was like when I was, like, dating and, like, I was, like, really, really intentional, but there was just something about Molly where I was like, it's probably fine," and she kinda gave me those signals too that was fine, so I'm sure it was all good, but yeah, we were hanging out a ton, and, that's why I, like, kinda, like, knew I've made, like, a really good decision. We've just been dating ever since.
Dating ever since. So you're seeing this new gal. When was it that it kind of clicked about the business idea since you're full of ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I've always had a lot. I know you're kinda like, "Shane, let's start something," and I think, we had all these ideas, and man, it just kinda hit me. It's like, "Oh, wait, like, those pictures worked so well for me, we should bring it to other people." And that's where I had the genius idea for onlinedatingbootcamp.com. That is what we were gonna call it.
Oh, man, that would have been brutal.
Yeah, that would have been I'm so glad we didn't go with that. And then luckily Molly's who's really got more of a marketing brain, is like, "Actually, why don't you call it the Matcha List?" And we kinda had all that flushed out. This would have been about, I think, 2017, December 2017
Mhm.
is when I, like, call you. I was like, "This is what we're doing, whatnot," and it's,
I think you made a like, you coded back when you actually had to code by hand. You coded a landing page for it, like, at the very beginning, and you just sent it to me.
yeah, yeah, that's right. Back when, like, yeah, you like you said, you had to, like, code websites by hand, so I used the developer knowledge, and we got the mattress.com, like, looking pretty, and, yeah, sent it to you, and, yeah, we just kinda posted it around in different kinda groups for different singles, and
I have,
oh,
I found
wow,
that the very first, back when that was cool to do the Instagram grid.
and before we got our logo.
Just the very beginning of like, "Hey, I know I can do this. Let me figure out how to split it into a grid." I was like, "I don't know how to code, but I can take photos and take a crack at anything else." So we put together the website and
It's kinda just posting different kinda groups of men looking for help with online dating. Yeah, because we were so new and we were, like, trying to get content, we actually offered free like, you got, like, a free 20-minute shoot or something, which is wild how you would I don't know how I expected any results in 20 minutes.
Mhm.
But we did offer a free 20-minute shoot. And then we offer the paid kind of 3-hour shoot. We put together a landing page, got all that done. I was very surprised right away, like, we got plenty of people taking us up on these free 20-minute shoots. It's like, "Perfect, we can get all this content." And then, like, 2 days before, like, the actual shoot and at this time, what we did is we rented an Airbnb here in Austin, so that way we could have kind of a place to kinda host all this at, and we posted all these groups, and the main goal was not really sales or anything, it was just, like, getting content so that way the website wasn't just, 2 or 3 guys. So we offered all these free shoots, but we did have an opt-in for a 3-hour paid shoot, and I remember, like, right before we were about to pull all this off, someone booked the 3-hour session, they actually paid, and they paid online, and that was like I mean, I've made money before online, but I don't think that put a huge smile on my face, like, "Oh my god, we are onto something here."
it's $499.
Alright,
Yeah.
well,
First revenue without even paying to get it.
yeah, I mean, so we got our first client, and which I heard he's now married with a kid, and I think he found his wife on, using our photos, so that's
First client success.
yeah, first client was a success, and that's kinda how we did it. We would typically go from, like yeah, we just rent an Airbnb and do, like, these different shoots.
We were really into, as we still are, like, the experience and how people feel, and so rented that Airbnb, and I have some shots I found of for people that see these on the screen. I did not know what I was doing with my beard, and it's gotten a lot better since then, but, I wish more people had told me. I think Shane may have, but, we went out. I just remember going shopping for things for the guys.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because like, we wanted to, like, lay out, like, a good experience, right? Like, I think, like, I remember, like, putting, like, little razors and yeah, it's crazy how, like, things are so different, but yet a lot of things are still the same.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it still is, like, really at like, I mean, obviously, online dating, all this stuff has changed, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to show the best you,
Mhm.
and that was true when you took my picture in 2015, that's true to the clients that we're shooting today.
Yeah, those are really fun for me at the very beginning too because, um I was working for Delta Airlines at the time, if you remember, and, I mean, that's the reason this was able to get started because I would come down and on my flight benefits, which, I'm sure I don't work there anymore, so they can't fire me for making money from, traveling, but, yeah, I would fly down and we'd do, like, the group shoots. We try to, like, stack up a few in, like, Austin or Dallas, and then I'd fly back home, and, that was until it became viable to come down and live here. When I moved down to Texas, I chose Austin because I thought it'd be, more of a up and coming like dating kind of city, which turns out that is a good choice. So you were in Dallas, and yeah, I think maybe talk a little bit about the SEO at the very beginning, because it was like these keywords at the beginning weren't widely used. It wasn't that difficult to rank for them, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the better things we did is, like, right away, we just put up all of these, um, landing pages for, like, every kinda city, and they were super easy to rank for because no one was trying to rank for Dallas dating photography or
Mhm.
anything like that, so they all got instantly ranked. It wasn't like a money printing machine because the thing was is no one was also in 2019, people weren't searching for dating photographers. And then we just got kinda lucky because we held that position. Google realized that these pages have been alive for a long time. We've been doing this for a while. And then once, people started Googling it in 2022, 2023, now all of a sudden we were just ranked like nationally for the best dating photographer company. And I think that's kind of like what really took us from, just me and you kind of doing this for some side money to now that, we have a full team and
Yeah, man, that first year was brutal. Brutal I mean, I was learning a lot and shooting what I could, but I somehow survived in Austin on $24,000 the first year. That was my take home, and definitely racked up some credit card debt and, yeah, basically ruined my credit for the match artist at the beginning, but, we made it out. Credit's alright now, and, yeah, those are some fun times.
very fun. And I mean, I think that's the part about entrepreneurship most people don't wanna talk about. I think there's, like, a considerable amount of luck that plays into it, right? Like, we were there, we were serving a market need at the time, but I do believe, like, in 2018, 2019, like, there's nothing we really could have done to, grow our business quicker. We really just had to wait for the market to meet us there, where all of a sudden, COVID happens, now everyone's online dating. It's like we're here with this thing and the market just hit us
Mhm.
right at the perfect time where we were here providing a great service and then everyone needed our service and it just was really, really good timing for everything.
Yeah, and I think, I found, one of this is from, the very beginning. I designed an ad. It just the market wasn't there because, as you were saying earlier, online dating, it was still a little potentially embarrassing to tell people that you met online, and so just generally running ads to that, it didn't work as well because people would be like, "What is this?" So we got the analytical people at the very beginning from SEO, the engineers, the people that like obsess over optimizing things, which I think was the best thing to happen to us because at the beginning, we're working with guys who wanted to get laid. And we were like, yeah, this can make some extra money, but this isn't what we're most excited about. We'd rather help on like the long term life partner sort of thing. And we found that through the guys that were searching for online dating photos, the engineers.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the most fun part, right? Like kind of I was saying earlier, it's so hard, in our line of work, like in dating advice, like you run so close to dealing with some really shady characters. They had reach out all the time wanting to collab or whatnot. And we had to get very serious very early on, like, hey, that's not us. That's not who we're working with. If I go to your homepage and your whole entire homepage is just about messages to send to get laid, like, we're just not a good fit. Because like you said, like I'm really, really excited to help people, achieve what you and I have achieved with finding a really, meaningful relationship.
Yeah, you ended up moving over to Dallas. I was in Austin. You remember about so we were starting to book shoots. We're actually getting paid. Do you remember of course you remember, but your role in the early shoots?
Well, I mean, I was production assistant, making sure that everything looked nice. I was there, I was vacuuming, making sure we had a nice clean space, making sure the guys were taken care of, holding your cameras, grabbing B-roll. I find that quite fun.
And you have what's the at the time, I guess, and still now, what's something that you had that I did not that you were able to help with?
I am so scared where this is going.
Hair.
I was the stylist.
You, yeah, I probably have more pictures too, but you were styling the guys, ironing the clothes, I was taking care of the pictures. Yeah, that was fun. I feel like we should do that again someday. Like, it's like you and I. It's like you don't know, I mean, our photographers are fantastic, but, it's like you don't get them on this one, you get both of the founders who are showing up.
Oh, that would be fun.
We also did a lot of, the social kinda stuff at the time. We had you in for,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because no one wants to like, that is, like, a thing, like, you don't want all your dating pictures to be, you alone.
yeah,
So I just hop in as, like, a token guy.
of just, like,
Wow. I forgot about that.
playing basketball. Oh, yeah, at the beginning, all the times where we thought like, "Oh, like, you do you, man, like, you love video games, let's take some video game shots." Maybe not the best choice anymore. You certainly can if it's super important to you, but I have so many shots of you with the clients on couches playing video games, and you even took some of the photos that ended up with me matching with my wife. I had the stockyards photo. You took that one? I believe you did. Well, that was part 1 of the Match Artist Story podcast with Shane, my co-founder. Hopefully you found that interesting, and see you in the next one.